My beloved child, I've heard the questions you haven't dared to say out loud, the ones you carry quietly in your chest. The ones you whisper in the dark when no one else is around. Did God change his mind about me? After everything I have done, everything I failed to do, could he still choose me? If that's what's been echoing in your heart, listen closely, because this moment isn't random. I brought you here on purpose. I see the weight you've been carrying. Not just guilt, but shame. The kind that sticks. The kind that tells you you've gone too far. Waited too long. Broken too much to still matter. You've looked at yourself lately and wondered, does he still see me the same? Maybe you felt the distance and assumed my silence meant I walked away. But here is the truth I need you to hold deep in your spirit. You are still the one I chose. Yes, you. Not some cleaned up version of you. Not the you who finally gets it all together. You. Right now. I didn't choose you because you were perfect. I chose you knowing everything. Every fall. Every valley, every season you would stop believing, and still, I said yes. I haven't changed my mind, and I never will. My beloved child, why do you still feel like you're not chosen? Why? Even when my word reminds you again and again that I have never let go of you. Do you keep believing that you're the exception? That my love could possibly be for everyone else, but not for you? Let me speak to your heart. Because I know you. You haven't just made mistakes. You've carried silent storms that no one else has seen. You've walked through long nights where you drifted so far. Prayer felt like a foreign language. There were moments you showed up to church. Smiled through the service. But inside, you felt numb, distant, like you no longer belonged. You opened the Bible but the words didn't sink in. You tried to lift your hands, but they felt heavy with shame. And that's when the lie started to grow, quietly, deeply. God must have moved on without me. You whispered to yourself. If I was still chosen, why do I feel so far gone? You started defining yourself by your detours, by the silence, by the times you didn't measure up. You looked around and saw others running ahead, doing my work, speaking my name, and you thought, maybe I missed it. Maybe the calling on my life got lost somewhere in the wreckage of what I've become. But child, listen, you were never forgotten. You were never disqualified. You were never too far gone for me. You've tried to hide. You've tried to keep going. To keep the image alive. You've worn the mask of I'm okay so long. You've started to believe it. But deep down, you've been aching, not just from the distance you feel with me, but from losing the version of yourself that used to believe. The one that once carried bold dreams, childlike faith, and a deep conviction that I really did call you for something more. You've wondered if that person was real, or just naive hope. That's where shame came in. It built a home in that space between who you were and who you thought you failed to become. It whispered lies. God's done with you. You're too inconsistent, too emotional, too broken, too late. You even blamed yourself, convinced yourself that it was you who walked away. And that maybe, just maybe, you deserve this silence. But I need you to hear me now, clearly, tenderly, powerfully. You didn't imagine the calling. You didn't fake the fire. You didn't create your identity in me, it was I who formed it in you before the beginning. You were chosen. And you are still chosen. The problem isn't that I've forgotten you. The problem is that pain has been trying to rename you. Pain has told you that your delays meant disqualification. Pain has labeled you unworthy. Too far gone. No longer useful. Pain has convinced you that love is something to be earned, and you've already run out of chances. But child, you belong. You're not a guest trying to sneak back into a place you lost. You were born for this. I haven't revoked your seat. I haven't taken back my word. And even though you've stopped praying bold prayers, even though you've let the fire fade, that quiet ache in your soul, that whisper that says there's more, it's from me. It's a sign the calling never left. The pressure, the perfectionism, the guilt, that was never from me. You don't have to perform to belong. You don't have to earn what I already gave you freely. So now, we break the lie. Now, we shift the lens. Now, we stop letting shame write your story, because I am still writing it, and I'm not done. Let that truth break the silence. Let it soften your heart again. Lift your head, my child, because the next chapter is restoration, and it begins with this: I never stopped calling your name. If this is speaking to something deep in you, don't scroll past it. Take a second to hit subscribe so you don't miss the next message. And if there's something you're carrying, or a question you've been afraid to ask, drop it in the comments. We're listening. And you're not alone. My beloved child, what if I told you that I never based my love for you on your performance? That I never looked at your success rate to decide if you were worthy of being chosen? My love is not a contract waiting for you to earn it. It's a covenant sealed by my own mercy. It began with me. Not your goodness, but mine. Not your consistency, but my faithfulness. I was the one who spoke your name before you ever knew how to whisper mine. I knew you. Every doubt, every moment of silence, every season when your heart felt far. And still, I chose you. I looked at your weakness, your wandering, your questions, and I still said, that one. That's the one I want. Not because you had something impressive to offer. Not because you were the most disciplined. But because I loved you before the foundations of the world. Fully. Deeply. Eternally. Think of this: if I only stayed close to the perfect, then David wouldn't be in my story. Peter wouldn't have been restored. Paul wouldn't have been called. They failed. They fell. And still, I stayed. I met them in the wreckage. I spoke purpose over their brokenness. And I've done the same for you. Again and again. Even when you didn't realize it. You haven't ruined your story. You haven't broken what I can't restore. The reason this message found you is because grace never gave up on you. Grace doesn't have an expiration date. It doesn't vanish because you've been quiet. It doesn't recoil when you struggle. Grace is not a rope you cling to, it's a river that keeps flowing toward you. Even when you're drifting away, let that sink in. You don't need to fix yourself before returning to me. You just need to stop running. The story of your life didn't end when you paused. It didn't collapse when you fell. I've been holding the pen the whole time, waiting for you to let me turn the page. There is more. You're not being reinvented. You're being restored. I'm not asking you to become someone else. I'm calling you back to who you've always been in my eyes. That child I delighted in. That soul I whispered to when no one else was around. That heart I've been guarding. Even in the silence. You thought I forgot you. No. Child, I've been closer than you know. There were moments you didn't think mattered. Times you showed kindness no one applauded. Prayers you whispered with trembling faith. Choices you made to hold on when your heart was exhausted. Those moments, they mattered to me. I didn't just see your failures. I honored your flickers of faith. Even the smallest ones. Even the seconds when you doubted, but still chose to believe. You've carried guilt like a name tag. But guilt is a signal, not your identity. Shame has tried to convince you that you are your past. That your value is tied to how long you've been strong. But I never asked you to be strong. I asked you to be honest. I asked you to stay open. Because that's where healing begins. So hear me now. Let this be the moment you lay down every false label. Let this be the moment you release the name shame gave you. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not too late. You are not a mistake I regret. You are still mine, still chosen, still loved. Not because of what you've done, but because of who I am. My beloved child, here's the part no one ever told you, but I need you to know it now. Being chosen by me doesn't mean you'll always feel chosen. Some days, the weight will be heavy. Some days, the silence will echo louder than my promises. Some days, you'll stare into the mirror and only see your mistakes, forgetting the identity I placed inside you. But listen carefully, feelings are not the finish line. Emotions are real, but they are not eternal. My truth is, and my silence, it doesn't mean I've gone. It means I'm working. I'm forming. I'm fighting for something deeper than comfort. I'm building endurance. You've believed the wilderness disqualified you. But child, what if I told you that I've been using it to prepare you? Remember my son. When I spoke from heaven and called him beloved, where did he go next? The wilderness. Alone. Pressed. Tempted. But never abandoned. He didn't stop being mine in the silence. Neither did you. So no. Your wilderness hasn't been punishment, it's been purpose. Your silence hasn't been my rejection, it's been refinement. Your pain hasn't been proof I left, it's the evidence that heaven has been shaping something eternal in you. I don't waste pain. I don't start what I won't finish. I don't change my mind when you fall short. I see the whole story. I know every chapter before you live it. And I'm not afraid of the mess. I step into it, yes. That addiction you've hidden, yes. That season of doubt you never mention, yes. Those tears you cried when no one saw, I knew it all. And still, I placed my spirit inside you. I breathed promise into your dust. I anchored purpose in your bones. Because what I start, I sustain. And do you know where I do my best work? Not in the spotlight. In the rubble. In the moments when you stop pretending. When you let the mask fall. When you finally admit, God, I don't know how to keep going. That's the moment I draw near. That's the version of you I've been waiting for, not the polished, but the surrendered. I'm not asking you to climb back to me. I'm telling you, I never left. The weight you're carrying, The shame wrapped in what ifs and if onlys, lay it down. You were never meant to save yourself. That burden isn't yours. I already carried it. I already paid for it. So now, I'm asking you to do something holy, something brave. Believe me. Believe that I'm still writing with your life. Believe that your name is still safe in my mouth. Believe that the story never stopped. It just waited for you to breathe again, to hope again, to pray. Even with trembling hands, to worship. Even with a shaky voice, to trust. Even with a broken heart. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be open. That's enough. More than enough. And if you're wondering why you're hearing this now, why these words are finding you in this very moment, know this: it's not coincidence. It's confirmation. I'm still speaking because I'm still choosing. You haven't missed your moment. You haven't ruined your future. You haven't outrun grace. You are still the one I called. Still the one I'm forming. Still the one I love. Not despite your story, but through it. My beloved child, you've been carrying this quiet ache for so long. Haven't you? That whisper in the back of your heart saying, maybe I'm not who I used to be. Maybe God sees someone else now. You've tried to dismiss it. You've smiled through it. You've told others, I'm fine, while something inside you trembled with doubt. But I see it. Not because you stopped believing in me, no. It's because deep down, you started wondering if I still believe in you. You wondered if I still speak your name with tenderness. If the times you drifted made me turn my face away. If the cracks in your faith meant you'd fallen too far to be called mine. But let me speak what is raw and true. I never stopped choosing you. I never looked away. I never paused my love to reassess your worth. While you were trying to clean yourself up for me, I was already walking beside you in the mess, not judging, not measuring, just loving. With a love that doesn't flinch at failure. A love that never leaves when the room goes silent. I chose you, not because of your strength, but because of mine. And that makes my choice unshakable. Yes. There were seasons you felt unworthy. Days you walked into church with your head low, afraid someone would see the shame you tried to hide. Nights you lay in bed too tired to pray, wondering if your silence had pushed me away. But do you know what I saw? A soul still reaching for light. A heart still fighting to believe. A child still worth pursuing. Heaven saw that. I saw that. And I never looked away. Before you turn away again, let me take you deeper. Let's talk about the things you've buried. The memories you don't mention. The mistakes that made you question your calling. The detours that led you into deserts so dry. You thought you'd never breathe again. You thought those moments disqualified you. But I say, no. I am not intimidated by your past. I am not shocked by your struggle. I've known your path in every step. And where you saw a dead end, I planted roots. Where you saw failure, I saw formation. While the enemy tried to shame you, I've been shaping you. Because I use every broken piece, not to reject you, but to rebuild you for something sacred, child. Listen, the version of you that walked through the fire is the one I trust with purpose. Not because you're perfect, but because now you understand the cost of grace. Now you know what it means to walk through the dark and still choose the light. You're not just polished, you're real. You're not just religious, you're present. The pain didn't ruin you. It rooted you. It didn't break the calling. It deepened it. And when you look around and see others running ahead, shining brighter, don't measure yourself against their path. My timeline for you is not in competition. Your pace is not a problem. Your process is not punishment. Even standing still, if done in faith, is movement in my eyes. I never asked you to perform. I only asked for your presence. And right now, child, you are showing up by listening, by opening your heart again, by letting my words reach into your most tender places. And that matters more than you know. You haven't missed it. You haven't gone too far. What I planted in you is still alive. It may be quiet. It may feel faint, but it's breathing. It's waiting. And I'm still holding it with care, until you're ready to believe again. So lay down the guilt. Release the shame. Let go of the lie that says you have to be perfect to be used. I'm not waiting for a better version of you. I'm walking with the real you, right here, right now, and I'm not letting go. My beloved child, maybe, for the first time in a long time, you're starting to breathe a little deeper, not because the pain has vanished, but because something in you is finally loosening its grip. That knot in your chest. That quiet voice whispering, "You're too much," or "You're not enough." I see it fading. Not because you fought it off with your own strength, but because truth has walked in. I have walked in, and here is the truth. Spoken plainly from my heart to yours. You are still the one I chose, not as a backup plan, not because I ran out of better options. I chose you from the very beginning. I saw you completely. The complicated, messy, beautiful soul who would fall and rise again. The one who would wander, yet still recognize my voice. The one who would doubt, yet dare to hope again. You've been so afraid that your story lost its value. But child, hear me. The worth of your life was never built on a flawless record. It was built on my fingerprints, pressed into every part of your existence. And those prints, they haven't faded. They're still there. In the way you love, in the way you feel deeply, in the way you care for others quietly, even while your own soul aches. That's not failure. That's faith. You've been waiting for a sign. Here I am. This moment is not random. It is your invitation. Not loud, not dramatic, but quiet and eternal. A holy shift, not around you, but inside you, where guilt melts, where grace begins to rise again, where you remember that I never asked you to be perfect. I only asked you to be present. And child, maybe the most powerful thing you can do right now is simply whisper, "God, I'm still here. And if you still want me, I'm yours." And my answer, yes. I still want you. I always have. I still speak your name with joy. I still call you mine. I still see you as beloved, because you are. So let this be your beginning, not of an easy path, but of an honest one. Let this be the moment you stop hiding. Let this be the chapter where you walk with me, not as someone trying to earn anything, but as someone finally learning to receive my love. That's what it means to be chosen. Not picked because you had it all together, but pursued in the process. Trusted, not because you know it all, but because I trust you enough to carry my presence anyway. And yes, you will stumble again, but when you do, hear this. You don't have to spiral back into shame. You can rise again, You can breathe again. You can say, I'm still his and child. That truth, it's enough to carry you forward. You don't need a spotlight to be significant. You don't need applause to carry purpose. You don't need to feel spiritual every day to still be anointed. You just need to remember, I have not changed my mind about you. So if you're hearing me now, don't dismiss it. This isn't coincidence. This is confirmation. Let these words reach into the places you've kept hidden. Let me whisper again. You are still mine, still called, still chosen, still loved. Not one word I've spoken over you has expired. Not one promise has been cancelled. Not one day of your life has been wasted in my hands. You are still in the story, and I am not done. Watch the next video. God's not done speaking to you yet.